A week last Sunday, I led the evening service at my church and shared my story of my mental health problems that had been caused by excessive levels of unmanaged work-related stress. By sharing my story, I wanted to bring closure to what I'd been subjected to and try and start to move on with my future. On the whole, that's what I achieved. But since sharing my story, my thoughts have turned to the cost of the avoidable situation that occurred through no fault of my own. It's difficult to quantify the cost as it isn't a tangible amount that can be expressed in monetary terms. However, to obtain total closure, I need to face and completely address the bitterness, resentment, anger and disappointment that I've managed to keep at bay using forgiveness, but I know continues to fester in my psyche. In a similar way to when I challenged my anxiety, if I don't address these issues, they will never leave me and could flare up at any moment. In 2009, my fitness was probably the best it had been in my life. No SVT palpitations, no restrictions on my exercise levels, endless energy, growing strength and confidence, and no fear of the physical side of sport. My future health was incredibly rosy. If my fitness trajectory had continued on the same path that it had since my ablation in 2004, by now I'd be super fit. And, given my determination to make up for lost time, I would probably be completing all manner of challenges that unfortunately now are pure fantasy. But the cost is not just limited to my physical fitness, but also the increased confidence that physical fitness can bring. Increased confidence to take on more challenging roles at work, for example, pushing for promotions, greater visibility, greater respect, greater standing, greater responsibility, greater recognition and greater remuneration, with all the advantages to my family life that would undoubtedly bring. And that brings me on to the biggest cost to me personally from the last 7 difficult and challenging years. The cost of time and, in particular, precious family time. If I was 18 when this situation started, I'd be 25 now, and still have a lot of years ahead of me to recover my health, fitness, confidence and career. But the same can't be said for someone who will be 53 in October. Yes, I've taken great strides in improving my health and fitness since last October, but my body is not 25 anymore, and that brings into focus the limitations of a body that has already been through so much. How far can I safely push it? How will it respond? What damage could I cause? Time for my family and closest friends has always been important to me, and I've done all I can to protect that time while I've been struggling, but there is no doubt that they have suffered. The total preoccupation with my struggles, my times of incapacitation, my mood swings, my physical limitations have all had an impact on my family and friends. I know that my ramblings on Facebook as I grappled to understand my mental health has cost me friendships due to misunderstanding and misinterpretations, friendships that are now very difficult to repair. How would my family and friends have benefited if the situation hadn't occurred and I'd continued to grow and flourish? Although damaged, my health has improved recently, and so, therefore, has my strength. But I've also developed traits that, although proved useful in my fight, are not the type of traits that I take pride in. I've become embittered, hardened, forthright, overly assertive, scarred, and, in some ways, nasty. These traits are all a result of the fight that I hoped to end during that Sunday evening at church. People say that fight is all in the past and I need to move on. But, as with a lot of mental health issues, that is easier said than done. Currently, my mind is awash with unanswerable questions. What if only, why, how, as I fight another battle with my head and the damage that has been caused. When my counsellor told me to challenge my anxiety, that filled me with dread. But I came up with a plan that showed incredible results in a very short time. Although I haven't reached the goal of that plan, I feel that it is time to create a new plan to deal with the bitterness, anger, resentment and disappointment that has changed my persona. My new plan needs to use the things that I've tried my best to keep hold of. My positivity, my ability to see beauty in the simple things in life, my success in reducing the anxiety to a level that means it has little effect on my life now, and the undoubted power of forgiveness with strength. But this fight is different to the fight against my anxiety. In that battle, I could feel the benefits almost instantly in how my heart started to behave, and those benefits quickly snowballed into more positive and bigger benefits. This fight is less physical and more mental, and therefore the progress is more difficult to recognize. So, the battle lines have been drawn. It's time to take on an enemy, but as the sun streams through the window on this second day of spring, I feel positive and ready for the fight. It's time to muster. It's time to move.